Good evening and welcome to our live crafting session this evening. It feels like a long time since I've been here. In fact, it's only been a week, but I wasn't here on Monday due to the bank holiday, and this was the first chance to get back into the swing of a normal week. So good evening to you. My name's Jenny McCormack. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and that means that all of the products I show you today are Stampin' Up products, most of which are available to buy either online or through myself. And I go live twice a week, typically a Monday morning at 10 AM and a Thursday evening at 7 PM. And if you're local to me in Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire here in the UK, then you can also join me for one of my 3 coffee and card sessions, which I run on a weekly basis, on a Monday afternoon in Toaster, a Tuesday morning in Brackley, and also a Friday afternoon in Brackley. Each week I choose a stamp set of the week to feature. Sometimes it features alongside other products as well, and this week it's called Warm Welcome. As you can see here, there are 20 stamps, so quite an expanse of stamps in this, and there are also some matching dies as well that cut out these elements and also cut out the door. So as well as the door opening, we have things that you can put inside the door. So you can make this look as if you're looking outside and you're inside, and that's on the doorstep, or you can have it in the reverse and you could be outside looking in. So it just depends on what you do with the area around the door. Good evening to you. I don't know if that's Caroline or Lexi. So as well as the door frame, as I say, we have the presents. We have the cutest little cat. We've got a hand with a bunch of flowers. We've got 2 hands with cups of coffee. And then we've got a line of little shoes. So 3 sets of shoes with a small pair in between. Perfect for a new baby, for example. And then we've got a welcome, yay and hello. And then it's your day, welcome to my home, miss you, welcome little one, that can be, knowing you feels like coming home. And then we've got some little hearts and dots as well. And we've also got open heart, open house, open heart, open mind. That's 1 stamp, but you could obviously cut those up. It's all photopolymer, so they start clear. They do get stained, but the staining doesn't affect the ability for the stamp to work. So never worry about it in particular, unless it's really bad and you can't actually see anything, in which case you can use some stamp cleaner. But in the main, what I tend to do, if it's getting quite tainted, and it does depend on the colour that you use, then I just soak the stamps in a little bit of washing up liquid in some warm water and just let that soak, maybe for an hour or so. Overnight's even better. And then just wash it off and then allow it to air dry, and that will bring it, won't bring it all the way back, but it will certainly help lift any staining. Hi Teresa, thanks for joining us this evening. So this is our stamp set of the week, and what that means is, as well as focusing on this, and I will do another live tomorrow, Friday, because I normally do 2 lives in a week. One is the basic version, which is our coffee and card version, and then I like to do a stepped up version or a version including more techniques or designs. So this is our basic one that we're going to do at Coffee and Card tomorrow. Now the people on Tuesday, there were 8 of us, and they had an absolutely fabulous time putting different things in the door. So as I always say to you, it's always worth checking what other stamp sets you have. So for example, you could put this little hamster here with a balloon, you could put the little bird. These are from Fluffiest Friends. You could put a line of little flowers, and if you wanted that to be the front door looking into the house, you could draw a line here and have flowers and grass or whatever you want on the side there. And then the other thing that got added was this lovely llama sitting doing the knitting. Also the raccoon with the balloons, the squirrel would work, the little tortoise here, and even the dancing leopard. The crocodile on the bike would obviously be too big, but you could have him or her coming in from the side, of course. So do check out your other sets and see what you've got that would work. What I'm going to do, I think, is there's a sample with the presents. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe the hand with the flowers, but have a cat in there as well. So to make life easier, because it's a fairly big stamp, I popped this onto my Stamparatus. So this is my stamp positioning tool. Sadly, we don't sell this anymore, but there are stamp positioners around. If you need any help finding one, let me know. Just going to clean this off a little bit. So what I've done is I've positioned this so that I can pop my card in close up to the left hand side. I think I've got two there. I have. So up onto the left hand side, and then I can put the magnet on, and then I can ink up my door design and stamp it. Obviously if you want to move that up and down, that's absolutely fine. You could move this down a little bit if you wanted it further down. I'm not quite that far. Or you could move the card down if you wanted it further up. I wonder if it would go, just going to see if it goes landscape. Just on the way that I've cut this card, it goes landscape. That way you can make it almost look like a window rather than a door. Okay, I can see I've got, just going to turn this over because it's got some ink on there. Just going to change that piece over. Okay, so I'm going to pop my magnet on there, put this back, and then ink it up and stamp it. Okay, I'm going to use Early Espresso just because that's the hand, but I could use Pebbled Path or any colour really. I'm sorry about that reflection. Move that down a little bit. Sort of helps, doesn't it? So I hope everybody is having a good week. It's whizzed past already, having lost the Monday for the bank holiday, of course. So just taking the ink pad to the stamp, making sure I do this inner edge here. And the good thing about Stamp Positioner is if you haven't quite covered it all, you can go back and ink it up again. Oh, I got carried away with my ink there. So that works perfectly, and I like to use the heel of my hand here to apply pressure rather than my fingertips. But some people use their fingertips. It just depends on, you know, how dexterous your hands are. You can also use a tool that allows you to put pressure on here as well. Okay, let's have a look and see what that looks like. It's a little bit light down this side. Don't know if there's any more ink on there or not, but I think it will be fine. There we go. Okay, so there's my door. And because I've only got one stamp, what I did for Coffee and Card was just do some multiples of this ready, so that not everybody had to wait for that stamp to create their card base. Right, mustn't forget that because I've got to pack everything back ready for coffee and card tomorrow. Okay, so for this one I'm going to use the hand with the bunch of flowers and then also the little cat. This very cute little cat. And this makes a great new home card with the welcome or hello, or obviously a birthday with it's your day, for example. So I'm going to stamp this first, just put that to one side as it's just a sample. And what you want to do is make sure that your arm is obviously just going off the edge of that door. Let me move that out of the reflecting light. Okay, and I probably need to take my glasses off. And if you're worried about going over this edge, having it too far over, what you can do is just grab a spare piece of copy paper, or you could use a post-it note, all of mine of which have just suddenly disappeared. And they were here earlier. Let's use my slightly dirty card here. So just to make sure this doesn't go over the edge there, I can just pop that on there. I have got some washi tape here. I'll just use to hold it. That way I can stamp the arm just a little way over, for example. And I'm just putting this down onto my mat here. Okay, so here is my hand with the flowers, or the arm with the flowers I should say. There we go, like so. And so it's gone over the edge, which is perfect because I know it's on this scrap piece of paper. Let's add the little cat on the floor. Let's grab a smaller block. And I can do the same with that. Okay, so pop it on here. I would normally just use a post-it note. I'm going to put this on the left hand side, and hopefully it's just on the ground. Cute. I'll lift that up to the screen. There we go. Now we are in British summertime, but it's a very dull evening. So although it is still light outside, I have got all my studio lights on. Okay, and let me see what sentiment might fit in there if I wanted it to go inside. So I've got hello. Might work. Let's have a look and see. It's a bit busy there, isn't it? I might put it on a little piece and put it on there, or have it underneath. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a little doormat and put it on there as if it's a doormat. Okay. Right. Let's do a little bit of quick colouring. Let's see, I've got grey granite I'm going to use for my little cat. So I've got light and dark. So these are our alcohol markers. Oh, it's just started to rain for Teresa. Bless her. So there's not much colouring in, only because these are quite small. So just going to do a little bit of the darker grey there. So just using the fine tip and not the brush tip, which is the wider one here as indicated. Yep. Add a little bit of pink in the ears. This happens to be light flirty flamingo, but you can really use any pink on his nose or her nose. And cheeks. Now I know you can't see much of that because it's quite a long way away for you, and it's a tiny little cat to start with. Okay, so this is where I would go through my stamp sets and see what else I've got that I could have in this scene. A little bit there and there. Okay, let's do the flowers here quickly. What have I got to hand? I've got Melon Mambo, nice pretty bright pink. We've got a new pink coming up, called Petunia Pop, and a very pale baby pink, so softer than Bubble Bath, and that's called Pretty in Pink, which is a colour we had a little while ago. I think it probably retired 5-6 years ago in the last colour refresh, possibly before that. Okay, so obviously you can take your time over your colouring. My pens are balanced quite precariously, so I'm hoping they don't all fall off. Okay, and I'm just going to use this green, which is light granny apple green, for our wrapping. And just to let you know, if you got our latest class in a box, they were all collected by the postman this morning, so they should be with you, Royal Mail depending, of course, tomorrow onwards. Okay, going to use a petal pink for the hand here, and then maybe just a light pink for the jumper. Just going to pop some stripes on there. There we go. Okay, and then that's all that's left is the door. So if I lift that up, you can see that hopefully. It's very cute. Hello Brenda, good evening to you. I do hope that you are keeping well. Okay, so there is my person with a bunch of flowers and pussycat at the door, and so I'm going to colour in the door. So you could use pale colours, you could use blues. Maybe I will use blue just for something different. So I've got, what have I got here? Dark Pool Party and Light Pool Party. That's a stroke of luck. So I'm just going to use, take my glasses off again, a little bit of darker here for the panel. Now you could, if you wanted to, stamp a pattern in here. Linda, who came to Coffee and Card on Tuesday, gave me the idea, because you could make it look like it was panelled with wallpaper or a pattern. You could leave it clear as well to make it look like glass. So just doing A little bit darker either side and then lighter in the middle. I'll try and do it as quick as I can. You could also stamp this again on a piece of patterned paper and cut that out. I think there's so many things that you can do with this set. And the dies as well have got little tiny little numbers, so you could put a number on somebody's front door, for example. So I will use those tomorrow, and I'll do that at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. So if you're available, you're welcome to join us then, or you can watch on catch up, of course. You could also put curtains in there as well. Oh, not much in here. Let's have a look. See, I don't think there's much in there either. Let's see if I've got another. I have another one. Oh, that's slightly better, isn't it? Okay, so just joining these up. And I could have a different colour frame, or I could keep it in the same pool party. I can tell that this pen is getting low because you can hear it on the surface of the paper or the card. Okay, so I'm just going to use the finer nib around the edge. You could also, if this is the inside of the house and they're standing on the doorstep, you could also cut this whole panel out and put it onto some patterned paper. So it just depends on which image you want, really, whether you want it to be the outside looking in or the inside looking out. There we go. Right, sorry, it's taking a bit longer than I intended. What I could have done was done all of this with the broad brush first and then just go over with the detail. So I hope you had a good Easter, Brenda, and that you managed to spend time with the family, and the same for everybody else. Right. Okay, that will do. I'm happy with that. So what I want to do is draw a little, I've got a little mat, trying to think what I've got. Oh, I know what would work. Oh, might work. Let me just grab a little tag. I could get it out. I need something to prise it out a bit. Sorry everybody, I've wedged it in a little bit too hard. So I wondered if that would work as a doormat, but I don't think. Let's see. If not, let me find that piece I used. I think it's going to be too small, isn't it? It would work with yay, but I don't really use that sort of expression. So let's grab a piece of crumb cake. And stamp it and then cut it out. See what that looks like. Oh, a quiet but lovely Easter. Well, nothing wrong with that, is there? Nothing wrong with quiet. Actually, my Easter was very quiet this year as well. Right. So, oh, actually, welcome would be better. I wonder if welcome will fit. Sorry, I've got sidetracked now. Yes, it will. There we go. So this is what we're doing at Coffee and Cards tomorrow, Friday in Brackley, and Monday afternoon in Toaster. But if you look at the reel that I popped up on Facebook, you can see some fabulous designs. We had the llamas, we had presents, we had balloons, all sorts. So, just going to do that by eye. So there's my little welcome. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, it sort of works, doesn't it? Make this really close to the lettering. There we go. I could have also stamped on a white piece of card and then coloured in with my pens, but I think that is almost spot on. Let me bring it up to the screen so you can see. There we go. If it's my eyesight or whether that's really blurry. Apologies if it's just really blurry. Okay, so there's a number of things you can do. We could cut that whole piece out and layer it onto something, onto some patterned paper. We could also put some blue sky, for example, in the back here. So if this was the inside of the house, for example, then you might have the doormat going that way. I know it looks a bit strange really, but somebody coming into the house. Then you could add some blue sky there. So this way it could be either way, couldn't it, really? Do I need to put anything around the edge? That is the question. There are some little hearts, tiny little hearts. So I don't know whether to cut that out. Let me see what background layers I've got and then decide. Looking good. Thank you, Teresa. Let's see what I have. So the way that it is at the minute, there'll be a small area that it will go onto, like so. Then it will go onto a white card. Now I could cut this down, or I could cut this out and put it onto here. Let's see what else I've got. So it's got some patterned paper. So I've got Pool Party as my colour here. I think I'm preferring that one. And then onto a white card to see if there's anything. So a lot of these papers, well, all of the papers are double-sided. Okay. So what do we think? Shall I cut that out and put it on here, or shall I just maybe I could just trim it a little bit, but I wonder whether to cut the whole thing out. A little bit indecisive tonight. I've had a long day. Got a little bit of the green in. It's very similar to the other one I picked out, wasn't it? Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this down a little to start with. Just taking off 1/2 centimetre basically. On either side. Or maybe a little bit less on that one. So I want the white space to be even. And then a little bit more off that one. Right, let's have a look, see. So I've got my welcome mat here. So got that. And then a white card. Like so. It's quite small actually, that piece. So like that, or cut that panel out. That's my decision. Cut it out, says Brenda. Okay, so what I might do is just, because this is a straight line either side, although I'm just see how accurate my cutting is going to be. Just to get that nice and straight really. So I'm just lining it up in the centre of my gap here on my trimmer. There we go. And then with my scissors I'll cut these pieces here. so. Just trim that little bit in there. My ribbon's stopping me closing my scissors up. There we go. Right. Straight line along there. And there. Okay. I think you're right, Brenda. Good choice. And that could be a door or a window, couldn't it? I mean, I know it's quite tall, but it could be either. Like so. An alternative would be just thinking so it looks like wallpaper, but and then chop that off. I think that will work. Let me just mark this. If I don't use it, won't matter. Right. So what I'm thinking is that onto there, and then that as my layer, and then that, so it's in line with the bottom, and then that there. Caroline says that looks good. Should we go with that little border around it? Okay. Let's put this layer down, and if anybody disagrees, let me know before I go to attach it. There we go. So I know that's got 2.5mm border all the way around. So with that on, and then that, so it looks like it's I feel like it could go on there like that. Yeah. Okay, thank you for that, your input. So it just goes to show, doesn't it, how different you can make it look, and sometimes how these things just come together in a completely different way. Okay, so that I'm going to pop onto there, and then I've got my little doormat there. I might put that on dimensionals. Just trim that little edge there. Better. Okay. So this was supposed to be the really simple version, but we have stepped it up a little bit. But tomorrow I will be using the fun dies that go with this set. Because there's so many little components. It's one of those sets that has got a lot more than you would see with the stamp set. Okay, there it is. And also the door can open as well with the dies. Pop that on with a couple of dimensionals, and we're done. Thank you, everyone. There we go. You could also pop that through an embossing folder if you wanted it sort of rippled, like a mat. And I quite like the way it's offset, not central. Although I might have put it a bit further over. Right, so we do have a new stamp set, a new kit coming out that Caroline has already ordered with the cats and the dogs, and that's got some cute paw prints. So what would be quite fun would be to have some paw prints over there, wouldn't it, across the bottom. But there we go. Do I need a little bit of blue sky behind? I sort of feel that I do. Let me just have a quick look. Oh, sorry, Chino. Nobody move. There we go. So let me just see what's on here. Hardly anything. Let's grab a bit of blue. Right. Little bowhead blue, so it's still just light. Just. There we go. So, just going to put this piece on here. So I can basically come just in from the side. And the side here. And to the top. Now, I'm not sure that you can see that sky. I'll bring it up to the screen so you might be able to. There we go. Can you see that? Yeah, just about. Just about. So there we go. That's that's supposedly the simple one, but I did just extend it a little bit by changing that layout slightly, which I really like actually. I like it. And I'm not worrying about using this designer series paper because I'm just using a light blue, so it's not going to mark this odd bit of paper. There we go. I definitely think a few paw prints on there would look fun. So there we go, let me bring that up to the screen. A sweet little card. And I like the way it throws the light actually, putting it on dimensionals. So that was a very good idea to cut it out. Thank you, Brenda. I think it was Brenda's suggestion. It's just a sweet set. Hi. Oh, that's Bridie. Hi, Bridie. Yeah, just a sweet little set. And it's one of those that I have to say I have had for a while and haven't done anything with. But It's got lots of little bits to it, and I do like these and the little hands with the mugs of coffee. And welcome obviously makes a perfect new home card, but just think about what else you can put in. So as I said, we use the zany zoo, so you could add any of these in as well on your doorstep. Mind you, thinking about it, that hamster's a little bit big for that door. The bird would probably work, and I did think actually a bird's eye view with those birds. Let me just grab it and see. Oh no, they're a bit too big. This one might work. It's funny, isn't it, how you have a in your mind. But you could have a tree in the background. You don't have to have it in the foreground. And what Scott did was he used some of the papers that had balloons on, and so it looked like you'd open the door and the hot air balloons were in the distance. You could use designer series paper that have clouds on, for example. So there's lots of different variations. So I will be back here tomorrow, Friday, and do something a little bit more stepped up with the dies, but I hope you like that in the meantime. Nice cute little card, I'm pleased with that. That was my model, if you like, for Coffee and Card. But do have a look at the reel on my Facebook page, because there were 8 of us and 7 people made 2 cards. I didn't finish mine, I was just demonstrating them. So it's definitely worth catching those. Caroline's were fab, and also her granddaughters, Scott and Grace as well. Oh no, Faith and Linda. So yeah, definitely worth checking those out. So the set is called Warm Welcome. It's currently in the annual catalogue. Yes, and it's £22. There are the matching dies that you can get, and remember, if you order the stamp set of the week through me, then you get all of the components to make the cards. So that would include the designer series paper behind, all the little bits and pieces, cards and envelopes. So thank you so much. I'm just going to grab a quick walk with the dog while it's still just about light. So I look forward to seeing you here again tomorrow, Friday, same time, 7 PM start. And I look forward to crafting with you then. Thank you so much. Do take care now. Bye for now.